Good evening, everybody. It's Spencer from the Heavy Hockey Network here with the Oilers post-game review, and sadly, it's not a positive one. Oilers lose 5-1 to the Minnesota Wild in what was a tough game. The team just did not look good. No easy way of putting it. First period, only line that was going was the McDavid, Kane, Puljujärvi line. Once they got split up, not much else was going. I know the idea behind splitting them up is a good one, to spread out offense. McDavid can do whatever with whoever most of the time, and Puljujärvi can be a big positive on another line, especially when he got hooked up with Draisaitl and Hyman. They didn't have the best night tonight, but small sample size. Just to review, Corsi was 65% for the Oilers. High danger was only 30%, and expected goals only 31%. You could easily tell by watching, we could not enter the middle of the ice. That is our another loss against Minnesota, another brutal loss, where last game was 7-3, and I think before that it was another beat-in. And there just seems to be our kryptonite. Brodin sticks pretty well to Connor, and you can notice it. Connor gets a little frustrated, but that's expected. He has off games. Only goal tonight, of course, came on the power play. Draisaitl, who scored his 21st power play goal of the year. That is an Oilers franchise record. So congrats to the big German machine on that. Other notes. I wanted to mention a certain play by Duncan Keith that I'm pretty sure you guys know about. And I think it's a good learning point. On the first goal, Keith made a turnover to Freddie Gaudreau, who made a nice move on Koskinen for taking 1-0 lead. And I'm not the biggest Keith fan in the world. I didn't like the trade. I think he's paid too much. But what can you do? I believe on that goal he made the right read, but the wrong play. It was a good read to get it to Nuge, who could easily bump it up to Ryan, and the Oilers could leave the zone with possession. And instead, he miscalculated the pass and missed Nuge, and Gaudreau went in and scored. And that was the start of a bad night for Keith, who ended up being on the ice for 4 even strength goals against. Him and Bouchard were fighting it. There's no way you can dance around that. They didn't look good. That pair has been kind of the odd one out, and it's tough because if you want to keep Nurse and Cece together against the top pairs, that means it's either Keith and Bouchard or Keith and Barry, and neither of those 3 combos will give you good defensive results. So Dave Manson has it tough. I don't know. I feel like they could go 11-7. Bring in Niemelainen. Bring in somebody a little bit more defensive. You can sit, once again, consider Cassian. Didn't have the best night. He had that breakaway, that missed opportunity. No Oiler really had a good night on. Ryan Hartman's first goal was just think it was Puljujärvi, it was Cody Ceci, and I forget the third player, but there was 3 players in the battle, and Kirill Kaprizov managed to get it to Hartman, who flubbed it over Koskinen's glove. And that is just a tough look. When the Oilers lose, I notice a pattern of we always get out-battled along the boards, and it will be a battle where it's 3 Oilers are in and 2 opposing players, whatever team, and the 2 opposing players will come out with the puck instead of the 3 Oilers players, and that already sets us off on a negative, and it's downhill from there. On the Fiala goal number 2, Nuge, he's sticking with Fiala, he's sticking with him. Foegele gets caught puck watching. I believe it's Middleton jumps in behind him, and Fiala makes a nice pass, beats 2 Oilers with 1 pass. Derek Ryan made a great read to come down, cover the slot, but then just Fiala gets it right back, and Fiala's a goal scorer. He puts it by Koskinen, and hard to blame Koskinen on that one. It's just silly, like puck watching, like silly little mistakes, and they just keep on killing this team when we play a better team, especially a team that is doing all right defensively this year, and we can't seem to outscore our mistakes. Now let's take a look at the next game coming up, Game 75 against the Nashville Predators. We're also in action tonight. I just want to move on from that Minnesota game, and not a fun one. Nashville, they played, I'll pull it up right here. Nashville, they ended up beating the San Jose Sharks 1-0 in overtime. Saros, 25 save shutout. Johansson with the winner. The stats on the screen do not show tonight's games. Notes on the side. The last meeting took place on January 27th. Edmonton won in the shootout. Saros went big. Forsberg, he's always good against the Oilers. He scored the Michigan against Smith a few years back. But Nashville's a heavy team, and it's going to be another test against the Oilers. They're pretty similar in style to Minnesota, and it's going to be interesting to see how this team responds. We still don't have second secured. We don't have a playoff spot secured. LA, I believe, won tonight as well. Yeah, LA beat the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2. So we are now tied with them for second. And if we do get LA, Doughty is out for the season, unfortunately, so we don't get to see best on best. But that also doesn't mean it's a walk in the park for the Oilers. The Kings, they always play hard. I really like Sean Durzi, right-hand defenseman on the Kings. Great puck mover, a little bit limited defensively, but electrifying and fun. Now back on track to the Game 75 preview. PK has been good lately. Really good. So I don't believe Nashville's power play will be too deadly. I am scared of the Forsberg on the left flank. He's a deadly passer, throws a lot of manipulation at you. He finds the seam passes, and he's skilled, big. He's just a problem, especially if you give him time, and power play is extra time. And last game these guys hooked up, Sevier, Shore, and Legason were all in the lineup. So now we replace Legason with Kulak. We got Brassard in there. And the whole team is honestly just more balanced with those certain additions, and it helps that we are also kind of in general healthy again, for the most part. And I know Leon seems to be fighting something, and that's not good because we'll need that guy healthy as soon as possible if we want to do anything. I'm excited for this next game. It's gonna take a big bounce back. It's a tough team. Nashville's coming off a win. It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot for the rest of the stretch. It's a tough schedule for the Oilers, and this is gonna really get them geared up for the playoffs, I believe. Anyways, that's your post-game summary from the Heavy Hockey Network. Oilers lose 5-1 to the Minnesota Wild in what was not a good game for them, and hoping to bounce back against Nashville. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great night, and follow the links in the description. Thank you.